One year, I was in a transitional period where things weren't going the way I had hoped. I didn't really want to talk to anyone about it, but I still wanted some moral support. It was hard for me to tell anybody what was happening because they had never experienced anything like this. Video about that fiasco will be coming later. When I think about it now, I was probably embarrassed and didn't want to hear told you so's or give up and go back to the life you had before, etc. So because of this, I felt alone and really sad. I remember thinking to myself, or maybe I was saying it to God, that I just wanted someone to talk to. I just want someone to talk to. Can I just have someone to talk to? I felt so lost and would cry often because it just felt like too much. I never wanted to burden someone with the problems that I was going through, but it just felt like I needed to talk to someone, an outlet. It didn't have to be about what was going on or what I was going through. It could have been a conversation about anything. About the same time, I was working at this job that had the third shift hours, and on some days I would go to a diner after work and I would take my computer and some personal work with me. I would keep to myself and keep busy while I was eating my breakfast, and then afterwards I would start my errands, which usually consisted of looking for a place to live. So one day or night, whatever, I was at the diner minding my own business. There wasn't a lot of people there because it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. There were maybe some truckers and like some random people who were there. And I was sitting in a section kind of all by myself, which I didn't mind because the waitress said that I could sit anywhere. So I picked a booth in front of the wall of windows. There were 2 booths in front of me, and I believe there were 1 or 2 booths behind me. All of a sudden, this guy walked in, and out of all the places in the diner, because like I said, there was hardly anyone there that he could have sat, plus he could have even sat at the counter. But the waitress, I believe, sat him at the booth right in front of me. At this point, I'm sitting facing the door and he's also facing the door. So that means his back is what I see. And then 10 to 15 minutes later, he switches spots and goes to sit on the other side of his booth. So now we're facing each other. And I thought, oh my gosh, what is this? All right, this is kind of weird. And also, please don't talk to me. I have my books, my computer, and my food, and all I'm trying to do is look super intently at my work just so he wouldn't talk to me. And he didn't. Just kidding. Of course he started a conversation with me. And at this point, I'm annoyed because I thought I gave him all of the cues, all of the signs that I did not want to talk to anyone. I didn't even look in his direction. I was in my work and eating. I did not give him a sign to spark up a conversation. But anyway, I'm not rude. So we started talking, and I think he started the conversation with something that was pretty bold, like, what are you reading, or what are you writing, or something to that effect. It was definitely something that if I was anyone else, that could have been a problem. It could have been met with a none of your business. But still, I'm polite, but cautious. We were talking a lot. I'm getting to know him, and it was just really cool. And then after a while, it felt really comfortable. We were laughing and having a really good conversation, no awkward silences, and after a while, we realized we even had a few things in common. I remember talking to him so long that it must have lasted for like 3 hours. And keep in mind, this was a total stranger, but it felt like we knew each other for a long time. Finally, it was time for him to get going, and he just told me that it was a pleasure to meet me, and he came over to where I was sitting, and I think we might have shook hands. And as he was leaving, I just watched him. I say now that I was watching him because I was probably thinking, if he disappears, I'm gonna flip out. The funny thing is, we didn't exchange social media handles or numbers or anything like that. It was just a conversation with a familiar stranger. I don't even remember his name. Did he tell me his name? Who knows? But I do remember it feeling comfortable and fun. Just an amazing experience. When he left, I was feeling great and ready to take on my day and do things that I had planned. Anyway, some time had passed, and I told the story to someone about what I was feeling prior, and she thought that it was God answering my prayer. I was just thinking to myself, wow, I didn't even think of that. I didn't think of it being more than what it was. I don't believe in coincidences, but I do believe that it was a divine interaction. But I do believe that God works through people. He sends people into our lives for whatever reason and for whatever season. And I think because I was crying out, he sent someone. At the time of this recording, that interaction happened 9, almost 10 years ago. And every now and again, I still tell people about this story because of the way it happened. I believe it was divinely orchestrated, and I'm telling you this because I think that it just shows that God does answer you. And it may come in a package, in a place, or at a time that you are not expecting. This video is just a testament to how much that interaction meant to me by the fact that I still talk about it 9 years after it happened. I was in a rough spot emotionally, and God came through. Ask Him for what you want and be aware of the different ways that your answer may come to you. This guy will never know how much of an impact that interaction had on me in that brief period of time. You just never know what people are going through. It was like he was sent to re-up me, like charge my battery or give me a boost like in a video game, just so that I can keep going, keep pushing, and maybe even just for that brief moment, believe that everything was going to be okay. And so it makes me a little sad to think that he'll never know that he was an answered prayer to the stranger he met in a diner one early Saturday morning. It makes you think about how our interactions with people, family, friends, and yes, strangers too, could be an answer to a prayer. Maybe we'll start moving through life differently. So I think that is it for this video. Tell me in the comments about any kind of divine interactions that you've had with a stranger, and take care.